The familiar landscape you once called home has been utterly transformed in a world ravaged by an unfathomable catastrophe. The life you knew has been erased from existence, leaving behind a desolate and eerie tableau. In the real-life Last of Us experience, when survival means everything in a world where trust is a scarce and hazardous commodity, get ready to confront relentless challenges and make life or death decisions. In this video is going to be an incredible journey where we'll take you by the hand and walk you through the eerily beautiful yet treacherous post-apocalyptic world that mirrors the one you've grown to love in the game. Like Joel and Ellie's relentless quest for survival in The Last of Us, this immersive adventure will test your wit, courage, and resilience in a post-apocalyptic world. Fortunately, it's only a fictitious setting in the acclaimed video game and current television series The Last of Us, so the likelihood of such an event remains entirely hypothetical. Or is that the case? Could something like that happen in the future? What if you become a victim of the infection? And how could one survive in this strange world? Here's an example of what might happen. Cordyceps are fungi with the remarkable ability to commandeer insects and transform them into zombie-like creatures. This process begins when a spore lands on an unsuspecting insect and embeds itself in its muscles. Once rooted, these spores manipulate the insect's behavior, compelling it to relocate to a new area favorable for spore reproduction. Eventually, the infected insect succumbs to the fungal control, releasing more spores as it perishes, thus perpetuating this eerie cycle. These Cordyceps fungi in The Last of Us can infect people, culminating in the development of hideous creatures known as clickers, distinguished by the mushroom-like growths on their head. Additionally, there is a severe shortage of essential resources such as food and water, and society has completely crumbled. So, how do you plan to endure this situation? In a scenario where airborne spores could infect us, urban areas become highly hazardous environments. Subway tunnels, underground passages, and sewage systems would quickly become breeding grounds for the infected. Therefore, carrying a gas mask close at hand would be wise. People who live in rural areas or small towns are likely to have the best chances of surviving because they are further away from the initial epidemic and can erect defenses to defend themselves. These presumptions are valid whether an infection spreads by tendrils or spores, since they are based on the same survival and cautionary principles. However, if someone finds himself in a colder area like the Arctic, their luck can be in their favor. The extreme temperature would make it difficult for the spores to survive or multiply in such icy environments. One would have the highest chance of staying here and possibly laying the groundwork for a civilization to emerge again after the Cordyceps pandemic. The fungal menace wouldn't be the only danger to face in the anarchic setting of The Last of Us. It would be dangerous to place blind faith in other people. Scavengers and robbers can wait in the shadows to take advantage of you and steal your essential assets, even your golf equipment. Survival in this harsh environment depends not only on avoiding the fungus threat, but also on avoiding the evil intentions of other survivors. Those who have survived must unavoidably unite in the aftermath to develop a communication channel with other survivors. This newly discovered network would be our most precious resource, helping us pool our resources, secure food, and defend against the unrelenting assault. Tiny fortified enclaves that are evocative of primitive civilizations may start to appear on this dangerous new planet. However, they would hardly resemble the world we were familiar with before the apocalypse permanently changed it. This rosy scenario, meanwhile, depends on the assumption that you have managed to avoid illness so far. What if you unintentionally breathed in some of these spores? Imagine if an infection spread. We're sorry to tell you that you won't build up immunity. As the fungus spreads throughout your body, you're likely to experience recognizable signs. Vomiting, weakness, fever, and abdominal pain are all possible side effects. Additionally, as Cordyceps may affect your dopamine levels, you might notice a fall in your mood. The fungus would slowly take over your neurological system over time. However, it would take some time for this process to take place. Because you're significantly more extensive than an insect, the Cordyceps would require several months to establish control over your body entirely. As this phenomenon unfolds, the mysterious presence begins to extend its reach within your limbs. Gradually, it establishes dominion over your entire body. You may attempt to resist its influence, but your agency becomes profoundly limited once it takes residence within you. While your mind continues functioning, you find yourself powerless to guide its actions. After all, the primary objective of this enigmatic entity, much like the cordyceps, lies in its relentless drive to propagate. To achieve this, it maneuvers to confine you within a confined space, providing the optimal environment for its growth. As it continues to expand its web throughout your being, it releases a torrent of spores, each carrying the potential to infect others. For a few weeks, you would find yourself trapped in that spot, your fate sealed by its insidious grasp. With your life extinguished, the cordyceps fungus proceeds with its sinister agenda, transforming your lifeless form into what is ominously referred to as a fruiting body. During this dreadful phase, spores and fungal growths emerge from your body, finding their way out through any soft tissue that offers no resistance from hard bone. As time lingers, your cadaver becomes an increasingly grotesque spectacle, evolving into a nightmarish entity that relentlessly generates spores, perpetuating the cycle of infection and decay. How probable is this scenario in actuality though? If fungi were to evolve to flourish in higher temperatures, The Last of Us implies that they would infect people. This sort of thing does happen in the show. However, how likely is it? A temperature range of 20 to 30 degrees Celsius is necessary for the growth of cordyceps fungus. Fortunately, the body temperature of an adult human is closer to 37 degrees Celsius. Therefore, cordyceps cannot survive the more significant body temperature. What if though cordyceps could tolerate warmer temperatures? You could escape uninjured even then. That's because our immune system are far more potent and our bodies are much more complex than ants. You might be unaffected, similar to Ellie. You can take comfort in knowing these organisms won't cause you to turn into a zombie. However, imagine if, rather than the change, there was a genuine full-scale zombie. We can also find solace in our reality being vastly different, and the likelihood of facing such a scenario is exceedingly remote. Thank you for watching this incredible voyage through time, and stay tuned for more exciting adventures in the world of science and discovery.